Hi everyone, this is Sam with the Wine News in 5. Before I get to global news, a bit of side news. While I was speaking at Unified Wine Symposium this week, which is the US's largest wine trade show, the rest of our team published yet more tasting notes on 2023 Burgundies. Julia provided notes on old vine wines from 17 different countries. Alder updated us on the headway that Italian grape varieties are making in California. And we published 9 unedited personal accounts of harvest and winemaking in war-torn areas. Plus, we re-released yet another episode of Vintner's Tales yesterday, originally filmed in 1998, featuring Adam Brett Smith, the managing director of one of the UK's oldest independent wine businesses, Corny & Barrow. Please do read and watch. On to the news. Today I'll discuss Accolade and Albert Heijn signing the bottle weight accord, rising exports from South Africa, a new study on smoke taint, and an environmentally friendly way to produce non-alcoholic wine. First up, Accolade and Albert Heijn sign the bottle weight accord. Accolade Wines is one of the biggest wine companies in the world. Their Berry Estates is the largest production brand in the Southern Hemisphere. Albert Heijn is the largest supermarket chain in the Netherlands, with more than a third of the country's market share. This week it was announced that both companies, along with the boutique Stellenbosch winery, Botanica Wines, have signed the Sustainable Wine Roundtable bottle weight accord. In agreement with the accord, these businesses will reduce the average weight of their 750 milliliter still wine bottles to 420 grams or below by the end of 2026. With these latest additions, signatories to the bottle weight accord now make up around 5% of global wine production. Next, rising exports from South Africa. It may not be much of a rise, but South Africa did defy the global wine market in 2024 and managed to grow wine exports by value by 4.3%, though volumes remained stable at 306.2 million liters. While the UK continues to be the largest export market for South African wines, they imported 5% less by value in 2024. Growth occurred in the second and third largest markets, Germany and the Netherlands. Germany imported 4% more by value, and the Netherlands imported a whopping 20% more. Onto a new study on smoke taint. On January 23rd, Wine Business reported that Washington State University had found that barrier sprays, which is a blanket term for a number of coatings that can be applied to wine grape bunches, can be effective in preventing smoke taint, as long as you wash the spray off after smoke exposure. In 2021, researchers at the university sprayed kaolin and bentonite clays, both present in face creams and certain oral supplements, on grapes prior to smoke exposure. They then washed the clay off the grapes within 7 days after exposure and found that it significantly reduced the smoke compounds in the final wine. The team at WSU conducted another trial in 2024, and they're still analyzing the results. Finally, an environmentally friendly way to produce non-alcoholic wine. This is my favorite story this week. The growth of low and no alcohol beverages has worried me for more reasons than just cutting into wine sales. Dealcoholization is an invasive and energy-intensive process. It requires you make a wine, beer, or cider, and then you go through the extra step of putting it through either a reverse osmosis machine or a spinning cone column, both of which require a good bit of energy. And if you want to read more about those machines, I highly recommend Julia's piece on dealcoholization. But the result is that you break a wine down into component parts, water, alcohol, flavors, that you then have to piece back together sans the alcohol. It affects quality, it requires more work, it's more expensive, and it's much more energy intensive than regular wine production. But on January 26th, Vitisphere published an article detailing how the organic wine company, Domaine Via Noria, is making zero alcohol wines by using non-Saccharomyces yeast and bacteria. The wine is being sold under the brand name Levin. The company's been honing their patented mix of yeast and bacteria for 3 years, and these selected strains consume sugar and produce lactic acid and CO2. Not alcohol. The owner of the project, Fabien Gros, is a winemaker from Alsace, and he described his last few years to Vitisphere. I failed a lot of tests and invested almost 2 million euros in equipment, particularly for pasteurization, but in the end, I managed to market a drink containing only 4.8 grams of sugar per 100 milliliters, made without any inputs, without added flavors, without sulfites, without metabisulfite or potassium sorbate, without citric acid, without anything. Gross packages this wine made from organic grapes in reusable bottles. The carbon footprint is 70% lower than the average dealcoholized wine. Apparently, some wine producers are up in arms because they believe that fermentation requires sugar being converted to alcohol. They don't believe that leaven should be able to be sold as a wine. I'm of a different mindset. Kimchi is fermented, it's not alcoholic. We can be flexible. Also, it's a huge win for the grape industry if we can manage to make non-alcoholic wine that actually tastes good. So far, sparkling tea in wine bottles seems to be the best tasting non-alcoholic wine we have, and while it's a great beverage, it's not wine, and it's not helping grape farmers. I'd love to try leaven. Please let me know if you've tried it and you've liked it. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. The next newscast will be on February 14th, as I'm going to be in London next week for the MW seminar. For February 8th, in place of this newscast, I've written a piece on breaking into wine communication, so please check the site for that. And as I say every week, if you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email me at news@jancesrobinson.com. Thanks.